Take a single individual from most animal species and drop it somewhere isolated, and it'll struggle, but it'll likely survive. Take a single individual from the animals on this list and do the same thing, and for several of them, survival isn't just unlikely. For one animal on this list in particular, it's not even biologically possible because the individual you're looking at was never actually a single organism to begin with. Number 10. The desert locust. Most of the time, locusts live quiet, solitary lives, avoiding contact with others of their own kind entirely. But under specific conditions, usually triggered by overcrowding and touch stimulation on their hind legs, locusts undergo a genuine physical and behavioral transformation, becoming more social, more brightly colored, and driven to swarm. In that swarming phase, locusts survive and travel in groups that can number in the billions, and the transformation itself is a documented, repeatable phenomenon called phase polyphenism. The same species essentially becoming a different animal depending on population density around it. Number 9, herring and sardines. A lone sardine in open water is nearly defenseless, an easy target with nowhere to hide. In a shoal numbering in the millions, individual fish become far harder for a predator to isolate and target, the sheer density and coordinated movement of the group creating a kind of visual confusion that dramatically improves each individual's odds. Researchers studying predator success rates against shoaling fish have found isolated individuals face significantly higher mortality than fish embedded deep within a large, coordinated shoal. Number 8. African wild dogs. Unlike lions, which can and do hunt successfully alone, wild dogs rely on coordinated pack hunting almost entirely, using stamina and numbers to run prey to exhaustion rather than overpowering it directly. Documented hunting success rates for wild dog packs sit dramatically higher than almost any other African predator, while a lone wild dog attempting to hunt large prey independently faces a success rate low enough that pack cohesion functions as a near requirement for consistent survival. Number 7. Meerkats. Meerkat colonies operate under a strict cooperative breeding system, where most adults don't reproduce themselves but instead help raise the offspring of the colony's dominant breeding pair, taking shifts on babysitting duty and standing sentry watch for predators. Pups that lose access to this cooperative support system show dramatically reduced survival rates, since the constant threat of aerial and ground predators in their environment makes an unwatched, unguarded pup extremely vulnerable almost immediately. Number 6. Termites. A termite colony maintains its own internal humidity and temperature inside carefully engineered mounds, conditions individual termites depend on entirely, since most termite species have extremely thin, moisture-permeable exoskeletons that leave them vulnerable to rapid dehydration outside the colony's controlled environment. Separated from the colony structure, individual termites in many species survive only a short time before succumbing to environmental exposure they'd never face inside the mound. Here's where the list stops being about improved odds and starts being about animals that genuinely cannot function at all without the group around them. Number 5, naked mole rats, one of the only mammals on Earth confirmed to be truly eusocial, organized more like an insect colony than a typical mammal society. A single breeding queen reproduces for the entire colony, while the rest of the population remains non-reproductive, dividing labor between digging, defense, and colony maintenance. Removed from that structure, individual naked mole rats lose access to the colony's collective burrow system and social thermoregulation, both of which their biology has become deeply dependent on. Number 4, emperor penguins. During the brutal Antarctic winter, with wind chill dropping temperatures low enough to kill an isolated bird within a relatively short window, emperor penguins survive by forming massive, tightly packed huddles. Thousands of individuals pressed together, constantly rotating positions so no single bird stays on the exposed outer edge for too long. Researchers studying huddle dynamics have documented the temperature difference between the group's core and its edges as dramatic enough that an isolated penguin facing the same conditions alone would face significantly reduced odds of surviving the season at all. Number 3, honeybees. A honeybee colony functions as a single, coordinated unit, with the queen, workers, and drones each dependent on roles none of them could perform alone. A queen cannot feed or defend herself. Worker bees cannot reproduce. And the colony's collective ability to regulate internal hive temperature, something individual bees achieve only through coordinated group effort, is essential to the survival of developing brood. Isolate almost any individual honeybee from the colony, and its odds of survival collapse within days. Number 2, wolves. Pack structure dramatically increases a wolf's ability to bring down large prey like elk and bison, animals no single wolf could reliably take down alone, and pack cooperation extends to pup rearing as well, with multiple adults contributing to feeding and protecting offspring. Lone wolves do exist and can survive for periods on smaller prey, but documented long-term survival and reproductive success rates drop sharply for wolves that remain permanently outside pack structure. And number 1, the Portuguese Man of War. Every entry so far has been about behavior, animals that function far better and sometimes barely survive as a coordinated group. This one is different because a Portuguese Man of War isn't actually a single animal at all. It's a colony of specialized, genetically identical organisms called zooids, each one performing a single specific function: floating, stinging, digesting, reproducing, none of them capable of surviving independently for even a moment. There's no individual Portuguese Man of War to isolate in the first place. What looks like one organism has never at any point been anything other than a group. 10 animals, 10 completely different relationships between the one and the many, ending on an answer that isn't really about survival strategy at all. It's about what counts as an individual in the first place. Which of these genuinely surprised you? And did you already know the last one wasn't a single animal? Tell me in the comments, and subscribe to NatureCrest for more deep dives into the animal kingdom's most extraordinary forms of cooperation.